This conference will now be recorded.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Honorable Secretary General Dr. G.P. Agarwal and Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME, I am Megha Chadda, Deputy Director WASME. Heartily welcome all dignitaries and participants for Atmanirvar Bharat, the way forward. Now I invite Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME, to moderate the session. Let me introduce Dr. Sanjeev Lag. Dr. Sanjeev Lag, currently working as Executive Secretary at WASME, looking after global operations, around 25 years of rich experience in strategy, research, consultancy, projects, contributed 8 research papers, and actively associated with ministries of Government of India, Harvard Business Review, and ResearchGate, serving as board committee members of Symbiosis University, Noida, India, NDIM, New Delhi, Mentorex, and IEF. Recognized by UNESCO Paris, France, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, SP Jain Global Management School, Dubai, UAE, Tata Consultancy Services, Delhi University, Times Group, Economics Times, Bennett University, Greater Noida, India, Mentorex, Teflas, Mumbai, Ashtak, India Today, NTPC India, author of a book titled MSME, Crash or Opportunity in COVID-19, published by Lab Publishing Europe. Handing over mic to Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME. Dr. Lag, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megha, for nice introduction. So this is the very relevant topic for today, and we have very esteemed panelists. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So on behalf of WASME, Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary, heartily welcome Chief Guest of this webinar, Dr. Subhro Kamal Datta, renowned right-wing media tank, Honorable Guest of Honor, Dr. Varti, A.K. Varti, Joint Director, MSME GI, Ministry of MSME, Government of India, and CV Sri Sanjay Bama, Deputy Director, NCUI, for contributing their valuable and precious time for this webinar. I also welcome all the dignitaries who have taken out their valuable time to participate in this event. As you are very much aware of that, the pandemic has already disrupted our life as well as means of businesses and MSMEs. They are the most hardest hit. As you are very much aware of that, MSMEs are the backbone of our economy, contributing to 30% to the GDP, 50% to the export, and generating 70 to 80% of the employment. And by government target for 2024 for MSMEs to just increase the account for 50% to GDP, 75% to exports, while employing 150 billion people. So this is a very good means target the Met has already set to become the 5 trillion economy. Our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi has already launched the Atmanirvar Bharat Abhiyan or Self-Reliant India campaign. And this is the vision of the new India envisaged by our Honorable Prime Minister on 12th May 2020. Our Prime Minister raised a clarion call to the nation, giving a kick start to the Atmanirvar Bharat, that is the Abhiyan self-reliant campaign, and announced that a special economic and comprehensive package of 20 lakh crore, which is equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, to fight COVID pandemic in India. As you are very much aware of that, this COVID-1 and the 2, we had already struggled a lot in the medical or the pharmaceutical industry. Now, with the support of our Prime Minister, the Government of India, and the vision of Prime Minister, now we are becoming self-reliant on various types of medical equipments like mask, ventilator, and other equipments also. So this is a very important topic for today, and we are means slowly and gradually just having a Atmanirvar or self-reliant joining the movement. I am not going into details because we have empowered panelists to discuss on the topic Atmanirvar Bharat, the way forward. Let me just introduce Dr. Kamal Datta, the chief guest for this webinar. He is the renowned media celebrity, foreign policy, political and economic expert, youngest team member of the Bajpayee government, former national executive member of the BJP, former media advisor to late Pramod Mahajan, former advisor to Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji, former media and parliamentary advisor to Sri Rajnath Singh Ji, chairman Global Council for Peace, General Secretary debating India. So he has already had means lots of exposure and very renowned and popular personality. We are very fortunate to have here in this webinar. We have got a guest of honor, Dr. R.K. Bharti. He is the Joint Director and HOD. Dr. Bharti is the postgraduate and doctorate degree in organic chemistry from Agra College, Agra, Uttar Pradesh. Started his career in 1995 as chemical assistant at Central Board Excise and Customers Ministry of Financial, worked as chemical assistant to Narcotic Division, New Delhi, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. Uh, uh, he's having a very good experience in the ministry, also various ministry, but he is just now currently he is the joint director of the MSME GI, Ministry of MSME, Government of India. So he'll be also talking about the MSME schemes. His team will just apprise about the MSME schemes and how these schemes will just support the Atmanirvar Bharat movement. We have got esteemed panelist Sanjay Verma ji with more than 25 years of experience in cooperative development. Sanjay Verma ji working as Deputy Director Publications PR Division in the National Cooperative Union of India with MPhil in International Relations from GNU, of premier academic institutions in India. So Mr. Verma has lots of experience in this particular field. So he'll be also giving knowledgeable thought on the topic Atmanirvar Bharat. So first of all, I would like to invite Sri Sanjay Verma ji, Deputy Director, NCUI, to address the audience. Mr. Verma, please.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, very much audible, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev Lai, Secretary WASME, and other esteemed dignitaries on the occasion, Chief Guest Kamal Datta, and Dr. Rajesh Kumar and other uh, attendees on this very important topic, Atmanirvar Bharat, a way forward. So I congratulate WASME for organizing this webinar at a time when Atmanirvar Bharat has become a biggest slogan in New India. So this has also been a subject of much debate and discussion in the recent times. And there are so many insights which have emerged from these debates and discussions. And WASME, representing the small scale sector, has come up with this timely webinar. And working in the cooperative sector, for more than 25 years. I will share my perspectives on this subject from a cooperative sector perspective because cooperatives are very, very important institutions for actualizing Atmanirbhar Bharat. With more than 8 lakh cooperative societies covering more than 90% of the villages in India, the cooperatives have emerged as a formidable sector of Indian economy in the recent times. Whether it is dairy, fertilizer, agricultural credit, fishery, housing, women cooperatives, the cooperatives have been the part and parcel of the socio-economic activities in the country. And our economy, in fact, cannot be visualized without the cooperatives. So whenever any economic model fails, whether it is public or private sector, the cooperatives, the government looks forward to cooperatives to to bail out the economic from the crisis, whether it was in Onion crisis or whether at the time of economic depression in 2008 or 9, and even in the current COVID pandemic, we have seen that the cooperatives they have performed creditably well as compared to other sectors of economy because at a time when there were so many job losses in the private sector and the cooperatives provided continuity and stability in this entire scenario. And so cooperatives are slowly getting recognition by the government. And the last year, when the world was gripped by COVID pandemic, our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a brave call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is a building of a self-reliant India. The cooperative sector, considered this call of Atmanirbhar Bharat as tailor-made for its orientation because cooperatives are primarily local-based democratic organizations working at the grassroots levels. And they come up with products, local products, which are based on the hard work of the people who are working in the cooperative organizations. And the cooperatives they are the cooperatives are primarily local based organizations, so their products are local in orientation without any dependence from external agencies. For example, you must be all aware of dairy cooperatives. The dairy cooperatives is a classic example of a cooperative brand which is based on the notion of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The cooperative dairy cooperatives have made India itself reliant in milk production. We all know about it. During the recent lockdown, while in Europe and US, the farm gate milk prices crashed, the many dairy cooperatives in India, particularly Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, they were not affected. The milk procurement continued, their production continued, and they provided uninterrupted services to the people in the rural areas and the cities. And most importantly, during the lockdown, we were not at all affected by the cooperatives were not at all affected by this lockdown, as the cooperative continued to be part and parcel of everybody's family like that. So that shows the self-reliant character of the cooperative organizations. Considering the importance of self-reliance for cooperatives, National Cooperative Union in India at the level, last year we celebrated the All India Cooperative Week celebrations, which is the mega event of the cooperative movement. based on the theme Atmanirvar Bharat and cooperatives. So we were very, very active in capitalizing on this main theme of Honorable Prime Minister. And based on this slogan, we came up with celebrations all over the country, and cooperatives of all kinds, they highlighted their achievements, they highlighted their growth stories as self-reliant institutions. They came up with strong advocacy that they are the best institutions for creating Atmanirbhar Bharat. And they last year the government also announced, we all know about 20 lakh Atmanirbhar 20 lakh crore out of Atmanirbhar package, out of which agri infrastructure development fund was 1 lakh crore. And this is and considering the importance of this package, considering the importance of this 1 lakh crore agri infrastructure development fund, NABARD, in fact, guided and supported the primary agriculture cooperatives in the rural areas to strengthen their infrastructure facilities, more particularly their warehousing capacities. So the cooperatives, small cooperatives in the rural areas, strengthened their warehousing capacities and infrastructure facilities based on this agri infrastructure development fund. And NABARD in many of the states, in fact, guided and supported these institutions, considering that they are very important for creating Atmanirbhar Bharat. And NABARD also went a step forward, and based on this, when this Atmanirbhar Bharat call was there, it adopted 35,000 primary agriculture cooperatives in the rural areas so that they could be developed as multi-service centers. That means not only dealing with agriculture operations, but also other activities which can provide remunerated income to the farmers, as the farmers in the rural areas, they are more attached to the primary agriculture cooperatives. And as you know, that there are more than 1 lakh primary agricultural cooperatives in India, and out of which 40,000 agricultural cooperatives are viable. So NABARD took at a mission to develop their self-reliant character and to develop them infrastructure facilities so that they could serve the interests of the farmers in a best way. As you all know, that the three farm bills have been passed recently, and these farm bills, they provide farmers more choices, and they bring in private sector investment in technology and infrastructure, and they shed away many of the controls. Through these farm bills, the farmers can increase their production. They have got a wider choice of selling their produce, but at the same time, the farmers are always in the tap of the middlemen. So middlemen, these exploit the farmers. So the cooperative sector in this juncture has heavily advocated and lobbied with the government that they're the best institutions to safeguard the interests of the farmers, to act as organizations which can have a good bargaining power with the farmers and who can serve the interests of the farmers in a best possible way at a time when these three farm bills are there to revolutionize the farming in the country, agricultural operations in the country. And recently, the government has, you all know that uh, as this for the last 1.5 years, the cooperatives, have showed a lot of character, a lot of good work in times of COVID pandemic as compared to other sectors. And as I told you that all the cooperative organizations, they continue to grow, and amount of disruption in the cooperative sector was lesser as compared to other sectors. So based on all these things, and the recently the government has come up with a for announcement for the formation of a cooperative ministry. So this is a landmark development for the cooperative movement in India. While some section of the non-cooperative sector people, They say that it has got political orientation, but the people who are involved in the cooperative sector, the people who have been working for the cooperative sector, they know that they have been championing this cause for the so many years. They have been demanding that there should be a separate ministry for cooperatives. And because of all these pressure, because of all the recognition of the cooperative sector, the government has formed, this separate ministry for cooperatives, and this will really make the way forward for cooperatives in Atmanirvar Bharat. And recently, the government has said, in his Prime Minister's in his Independence Day speech, has said for vocal for local. So this is the vocal for because then this is the slogan which applies to the cooperative products, because the cooperative products need to be made more competitively so that they can compete with the international market. And that is why our Prime Minister has big hopes from the cooperative sector that the cooperative products will come ahead, will take the lead in actualizing this vocal for local concept. And in the times to come, I foresee that the Ministry of Cooperatives will take appropriate steps to ensure that the cooperatives emerge as lead players, not only in Atmanirbhar Bharat, creating Atmanirbhar Bharat, but also actualizing the slogan for vocal for local. I think I have stepped up my time limit. So thank you once again for inviting me, and thank all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Verma, for your wonderful thought. And as you have already mentioned, this cooperative Ministry of Cooperative means already created by this government in the second term. So this will again help the MSMEs to grow faster, and they can also because this pandemic has already disrupted all businesses. One third of the MSMEs they have already been means closed their establishment. So definitely this cooperative movement will help them in reviving, surviving, and sustaining, and as well as scaling up their businesses. So thank you. Uh, let's have Dr. R.K. Bharti. I would like to just invite guest of honor for today's webinar, Dr. R.K. Bharti, Joint Director, Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Dr. Bharti, please. Am I audible, Dr. Bharti? Okay. I think he has got disconnected. Okay. Uh, let me have Dr. S.K. Gupta, our chief guest for this session. I would like to invite Dr. Datta to just share his thought on the subject Atmanirvar Bharat, the way forward. Dr. Datta, please. Kindly unmute your mic. Unmute. 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 There is an option next to camera mic.
Yes.
MIC. Yes. Yes.
Can I hear? Am I audible
Yes.
now?
Yes. You are very much audible, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Rather, it's good evening right now. It is a wonderful August gathering, and I see a number of well-known faces out here from the MSME sector as well as from the cooperative sector and also from other spheres of life. I extend my heartiest thanks and acknowledgement to WASME, to Dr. Lake, to Miss Megha Chadda, as well as my colleagues, Dr. Bharti, as well as Dr. Sanjay Verma ji, for coming over for this wonderful session. I'm sure this is going to be a lovely interaction with all of you. And I do understand that the way the things have gone during the time of the pandemic in 2020 and 2021, and the pandemic is not yet over, it is still on, and we also have this fear of third wave coming somewhere around in the month of October, November. So I guess in this kind of a topsy-turvy, precarious kind of a condition, it becomes extremely important for us to be very cohesive in relation to the things which we do and how to revive our economy as well as our financial and commercial sector. So it becomes extremely important for us to have a kind of a proper out of box kind of a thinking as to how do we go ahead. Pandemic has taught us a number of lessons as such, number of lessons which are both for a thought to ponder as well as to look back into the follies and also to look ahead in future as to how we can make the Indian economy gallop ahead. There is already a mission and there is already a thought of the government of India that we need to be a 10 trillion economy another 10 to 15 years down the line, and might be a 5 trillion economy by the end of 2024-25. So before the pandemic, it was very much achievable, but after the pandemic, things have gone little slow on this. But still, I believe the 5 trillion economy is very much feasible and it's very much possible for us to do it here in India by the end of 2024, 2025, provided we know how to do it. And in that comes in three important concepts, which the Honorable Prime Minister has shared a number of times since 2019 onwards. The first concept which he had given to India through a Calorian call, that was Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. The second one was Unnat Bharat, and the third one was Atmanirvar Bharat. Now, Unnat Bharat and Atmanirvar Bharat are actually intertwined with each other or are interconnected with each other. I understand that for us to emerge as a global economic power of the Asia Pacific division or of Indo Pacific, it is very important for us to have our backbone strong. And for making the backbone of our country strong, it is very important that we need to focus on the agricultural sector, the small scale, medium, and cottage industry, as well as the cooperative sector of our country. We like it or we don't like it, Indian economy is still directly or indirectly still very dependent on the agricultural sector, on the MSME sector, as well as on the cooperative sector. So this is something which one has to keep in mind, that if we have to revive the backbone of our country, we need to revive these three important vital sectors as such, whether it's the MSME, the small scale, medium, and cottage industry sector, or whether it is the agricultural sector, or whether it is the role of the cooperative sector as such. Indian cooperative movement is one of the largest movement in the world, and it is of course the largest, I would say, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Verma. As far as I understand, it is the largest movement in the world. The MSME industry in our country is again one of the largest in the world, and if not the largest. And agricultural sector of India has a huge contribution to play and a huge role to play in the Indian economy as such. Yes, it's true that the service sector, the IT sector, the roadways, the construction industry, as well as the surface transport and the tourism sector are also very vital when it comes to its contribution in relation to the GDP growth rate and in relation to its contribution for the Indian economy. But a large part of the contribution for the Indian economy comes from these three sectors as such. Now, let me come to the whole issue of Atmanirbhar Bharat only. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat all about? Atmanirbhar Bharat means to be self-reliant, to be self-dependent, to be self-resolute as such. And in that comes in two important concepts. One is the make in India, the other one is the made in India. Made in India, we all know what is made in India all about. Any product which is manufactured here in India has that level made in India as such, any product of India. Now, what is make in India? Make in India is the larger part of that component as such. Make in India means any product which is installed here in India, which is produced by the Indian raw material, by the Indian laborers, by the Indian technology, as well as supplied by and marketed by the Indian companies as such. So that is something which is called Make in India. Now, for making Atmanirvar Bharat, or for making India self-reliant, self-resolute as such, Atmanirbhar Bharat becomes very, very important. Now, is it so easy to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat? No, it is not so easy in this competitive world of today. India is a part and parcel of the WTO. India is a part and parcel of the globalized world as such, and there is a cutthroat competition from different multinational companies which are coming over here into India, and they are giving a huge amount of competition to the Indian companies as such. Now, in that kind of a scenario, how do we become Atmanirbhar? We become Atmanirbhar if the primary sector is directly correlated with the tertiary and the ancillary and the secondary sector, which means the main industrial component of our country has to have a connection with the small scale cottage and medium industry, and also with the very, very tertiary or the primary industry at the grassroots level. Say, for example, I cite a small example how, and I explain this. For example, for making steel bars as such, for in the iron and steel sector. Now, when the iron and steel is manufactured in the steel plant, when steel is manufactured from the raw iron as such, what is the process all about? The raw material, the iron ore, comes from the mines as such. It gets purified, then it is sent to the steel plant, where there is further improvisation of that, and then finally comes out the steel bars as such, from which the steel products are made. Now, is it only the role of the steel industry in doing this? No, of course not, because at the ground level, where this iron is being purified as such, we have the contribution of the lignite in the lignite coal, or we have the contribution of the of coal as such, the anthracite coal as such, in which the iron is burnt, and it is liquefied, and then it is purified as such. Now, in that comes in the people who are associated with the coal mines as such, they are the ones who do it. Now, with them also comes in the fitters, the gold, the ironsmith, then the cobbler, who supplies in small instruments as such for purifying the iron as such, the nails, the cutting tool, then the small blades, the small wires made out of iron, which are all important for the steel industry. These are all supplied by the ancillary sector, by the sector which is there at the grassroots level. Now, the cobbler out there, the ironsmith out there, he must be a single individual doing it, or he must be assisted by two or three people as such. Now, that is what is called self-reliance or Atmanirbhar Bharat at the ground level. Now, if we have to make India a resolute nation, if we have to make Indian economy a resolute economy, we have to strengthen the grassroots level. The people who are there at the grassroots level, the ones who are there at the grassroots level, the ones who are working at the grassroots level, whether it's the ironsmith, whether it's the coppersmith, whether it's the goldsmith, whether it's the silversmith, name any one of them, they are the ones who are the foot soldiers of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Above them comes in the cottage and the small scale and the medium sector, which are there at the panchayat level, which are there at the small towns, which are there at the small cities, like might be a handloom mill of around 20 people, who is making handloom out of the raw material which is being supplied by the peasantry, by the farmer from the handloom sector, from the cotton sector, or for that matter from the silk sector as such, the product which is being sent by the farmer to this handloom industries, there they are this handloom industry, and there's people in the handloom industry, they weave the cloth out of it, and then they make the thread, they make the beautiful clothes out of it, and then they send it to the cotton mills in Surat, or for that matter in Mumbai or in Ahmedabad or in any other place where further assimilation of all the products takes place, and then the made in India product is leveled in that, and these are then exported out at the global level or sold out in the Indian market as such. So this connectivity which is there from the top to bottom, this is something which needs to be strengthened as such. Unfortunately, the globalization process of the last 25 years, in the name of globalization, we have actually imitated the American model, which is a unit center model, or it's a self-centered model as such. Now, what has been the result of that? The former finance minister of the UPA government, Sri Chidambaram, during his parliamentary debates, during the vote on recount debates of 2000, just before 2014, he had acknowledged that almost around 5 lakh small scale, medium and cottage industry in our country has actually died or are on the verge of dying down. Now, this needs to be revived. This is something which has to be revived. And here comes in the clarion call of the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, that if we have to be resolute, if we have to be Atmanirbhar, we have to be Atmanirbhar by mind. We have to accept the Indian products which are being generated from the ground level, because if we accept the Indian products, if we promote khadi, if we promote Indian silk, if we promote Indian cotton, if we promote Indian steel, if we promote Indian iron, then only the people at the ground level, they will get an urge and they will feel confident enough to be a part and parcel of this whole industry as such, and that would give up a tremendous amount of boost up to the local economy. As a result of that boost up, there would be local employment. Once there is local employment, once a boy or a girl at the grassroots level becomes self-reliant, he or she is able to give in 5 more jobs to 5 more people. The Honorable Prime Minister always says that be a job giver, do not be a job seeker as such. In that comes in Atmanirvar Bharat, in that comes in Unnat Bharat as such, because if we really have to make India Unnat, if we really have to make India Atmanirbhar, we have to be Atmanirbhar by mind. We have to be Unnat by mind. The moment we become Atmanirbhar by mind, our society gets Atmanirbhar, the family gets Atmanirbhar. Once the family becomes Atmanirbhar, the society gets Atmanirbhar, and if the society becomes Atmanirbhar or self-reliant, then the whole country becomes Atmanirbhar as such. The mission of the present government is very, very clear. We need to make the backbone of the country very strong. We need to make the small scale, medium and the cottage industry, the agricultural sector, the cooperative industry very, very strong, because if we are able to do that, only then there would be Atmanirbharta as such, and India would be Atmanirbhar. And that's the reason in this recent cabinet reshuffle, a separate ministry in relation to the Ministry of Cooperation, which Mr. Verma has already mentioned about, a separate ministry has been formed. Besides that, the Honorable Prime Minister has also formed in a separate Ministry of Fishery, because he has given a call for blue revolution as such, for making India Atmanirbhar as such. We are also working on the lines of how to make the agricultural sector much more strong, much more resilient as such, and much more cohesive as such, and that's the reason the 3 important farm laws were passed by the Parliament of India, for making the Indian agriculture, for making the Indian small scale and medium and cottage industry strong as such, resilient as such. So these are some of the initiatives which the government of India has already taken. But besides that, for making the initiatives of the government of India successful, I do understand and I do appeal to organization like WASME, which is associated with the small scale, medium and cottage industry. My association with your institution goes very deep. I have had fantastic collaborative interactions even in the past with WASME. I would appeal to WASME that please become one of the brand ambassador of Atmanirbhar Bharat. spread this goal of the government of India at the grassroots level for those villagers at the village, for those small, educated youth at the small towns, at the small kasbahs, and for those educated girls at the small towns and small kasbahs. Ask them to join in the various schemes of the government of India, ask them to become a part of Digital India, ask them to become a part of the MSME ministry, ask them to become a part of the various other schemes as such, so that they can become Atmanirvar. Ask them to join in the Skill India movement as such, and once this correlation is arrived at with a proper synthesis between the government, between the academic institutions, between the media, the bureaucracy, and international organization like that of yours, I'm sure the mission and the goal of the government of India would be successful. Because I always say, and I quote from a very famous book of a very famous historian, a German historian, A Wonder That Was India. He had written, India was wonderful, a wonder that was India, and in that he had written, East bowed before the blast, in patient thought disdain. She let the legion's thunder past, bowed in deep thoughts again. Out here, East means India. And I would say, I would go further ahead of Dr. Basham, and I would say that India was a wonder that was India. India is a wonder that is India, and India will be a wonder that is India, provided we all can join hands together, club our resources, and march ahead in the 21st century as the single largest economic power of the world. 21st century India is the era of Asia Pacific division of Indo-Pacific. Let us make India a global leader in 21st century. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Datta, for your wonderful insight. This will motivate our MSMEs in this unprecedented situation, and they will adopt the Atmanirvar Bharat, and we have been already catching the movement of this Atmanirvar Bharat, vocal for local, and make India the one of the greatest hub of different products on in different sectors. We are the hub of the pharmaceutical, IT hub, and we are just making in other sectors also. Slowly and gradually, we have been already catching up the movement. So this is the wonderful, very good presentation by Dr. Datta, our chief guest of this webinar. So, Dr. Bhatti, you have joined. He has got already disconnected due to some official visit or something else. So we have got Dr. K.K. Goel, Assistant Director, MSMETI, Government of India, Ministry of MSME. So he'll be just representing this MSMETI over here. Dr. Goel?
I think I'm audible now.
Yes, you are very much audible, sir. You are welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Nayak, for giving us this opportunity. It is a wonderful opportunity, and we have been associated for a very long period. So, same way, actually, I had met Dr. Datta also in our office, and I was mesmerized looking at the energy level which actually he is possessing. And no doubt, WASME is seeing the new role under your active leadership, I must say. Dr. Light, you have really put WASPE on a very different platform, and it is always a pleasure to join any program with you. So today's program, it seems it is on Atmanirvar Bharat and the way forward. So as far as MSME is concerned, MSME means Ministry of MSME, I mean, has been always looking for the way forward for MSMEs, putting everybody involved into entrepreneurship on the micro level also, as well as at the medium level also. So since the time is short, we are running a bit behind the schedule. I will seek the permission to share our screen. Hello. The organizers, can you please allow us to share the screen?
Yes, yes, yes. उनके स्क्रीन शेयर कर दिया डॉक्टर के
So now my screen must be available. Let me come to the first one. Since I am not able to see that whether the first screen is available.
Screen is not available, sir. You can share your screen.
I have shared it. See, on my other phone, I am seeing that it actually the screen is shared.
It is available, sir.
It is available, na? The first screen. Government of India, Ministry of MSME.
Yes, it's available.
Visible?
Yes.
Good. So actually,
Lots of noise, sir.
okay. Hello. Actually, let others be on mute. Yeah. Now it is clear. Hello, Dr. Laik, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes,
perfectly
yes.
audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Megha ji, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir, namaskar.
Namaskar. Okay. So now, please ask others also to mute it, and let us go by the screen first, so that most of the things will be covered, and then later on we will be going for the question answer session that will
I
meet the
would like to
purpose of.
request each and everyone to mute your mic, please. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Acha. Now I think let the mics of Meghaji and Dr. Laik and myself be open all the time, and others, if they want to speak in between, they can open the mic and then they can interrupt in between, and then we will try to resolve it. Now, Dr. Laik, I am seeking your permission. There can be two ways of giving the presentation. Number one is that I go through the entire presentation first, and then we take the question answer session. Or let me go on sharing the screens one by one, schemes one by one, and then we take the question answer session. Which way you want me to go ahead?
The first one is good, sir. You can give the presentation, then you can have the question answer session.
Yes, I think that will be fantastic. So here actually I would like to say I am representing Ministry of MSME, Government of India, and we are the field institutions. There are 30 institutions throughout the country like this, which one is located in Delhi. So we are mainly catering to the needs of MSMEs located in Delhi, entire Delhi, NCT Delhi, District Faridabad of Haryana, District Gautam Budh Nagar, District Ghaziabad, and District Hapur of UP. So this is our territory, but I will be representing the schemes of the central government entirely. First of all, this is the basic thing. Actually, MSME has changed. The definition of MSME has changed, and now it is a very common thing, but still we like to repeat it time and again to clear the doubts, because many times we have seen that there are many doubts on the definition part itself, which one is an MSME and which one is not. So as it is very clear, this has been enhanced drastically to a very high level. Micro enterprise, now first of all, the difference between the service enterprise and manufacturing enterprise has been done away with. The micro enterprise, which is the smallest unit, is based on the investment in plant and machinery or equipment which is limited to 1 crore, means from 0 or rupee 1 to 1 cr is the investment in plant and machinery, and the turnover is up to rupees 5 crore. Here I will like to specify one thing. When we talk of investment in plant and machinery, it does not include investment or the money invested in land and building and the raw material, etc., the working capital. Okay, so this is not the investment in the business, it is investment in plant and machinery only. The second category, which is the middle category, it is small enterprises. where the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is between rupees 1 crore to 10 crore, and the turnover is rupees 5 crore to 50 crore. It is very simple. It is multiple 5 times of the investment. Then comes the medium enterprise, where the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is rupees 10 to 50 crore and turnover between rupees 50 crore to 250 crore. I think, Dr. Layak, before we move forward, I would like to take any question, any doubt on this, because then we will not talk of this. If anybody has any question on the classification of MSME, one is free to ask me. So I take it this way, that there is no doubt, everything is clear on this. So I move to the next one. If we know that this is the enterprise MSME, how to get it registered? See, Udyog registration and earlier registration of EM Part 2 or Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum, in short it is UAM, is valid till 31st of December 2021. So within this time, all the existing MSMEs have to get registered on Udyam registration portal, that is udyamregistration.gov.in. Here again I will like to emphasize, this registration is totally free, no charges, no document is to be uploaded, no money is to be paid. There are agents in between who charge money for this, please don't pay. Even there are some fake websites, those who charge money for this, please don't pay a single penny to anybody. It is free of cost. It is your choice to give anybody. If you want to get facilitated, if you don't want to operate it at your own, then you can give. Otherwise, from the government side, there is no charge for this. Now, main schemes of MSME. So, for prospective enterprises, I have put it like this: training and motivation, because we organize several training programs and we tell them the information, that who is who, what organization is to be done, what are the rules regulations applicable, which are the institutions which will be helping them in setting up the enterprise, why to go for entrepreneurship and why not to go for entrepreneurship. This is there. Then there are sample project profiles. These are uploaded on the website also from time to time. These give a basic idea about various projects which can be undertaken. Then depending on one's own interest, one can go for any particular project and identify. So these project profiles give a basic idea that what will be the investment, what will be the procedure, what is the market size, what is the machinery, what is the technology, and what are the financial ratios, etc. So here word of caution is there is a time factor into this project profiles. Maybe these project profiles have been prepared 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So you have to apply as per the current rates going on, and then you can modify this as per the present scenario. Then another part is that we undertake this activity is that awareness about the various resources, where these things will be available, what will be this one. So it is raw material also, it's technology also, and it is the finance also. So mainly the people are asking about the finance. So Mudra is one of the schemes. PMEGP, that is Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, is one of the schemes. Stand Up is again another scheme which is applicable for SC, ST and women only. Then the incubators which are located in different engineering colleges and universities throughout the country. Now I will be talking of existing enterprises, existing entrepreneurs. So finance is CGT MSE, that is Credit Guarantee Trust for micro and small enterprises. For technology upgradation, it is Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme, CLCSS. For product development, that is Design Clinic Scheme. For procurement and marketing support, this is also very good support, that is Public Management Public Marketing Support, and PPP, that is Public Procurement Policy. It is 2012, under which different level of this one, 25% of the government procurement is done from micro and small enterprises. Then delayed payment resolution is also one of the provision under the MSME Development Act 2006. And about this, one can put the complaint on a portal which has been put under ease of operation, ease of doing business, that is Samadhan portal. One can put the complaint and then accordingly the action is taken into that. Then manufacturing, to improve the manufacturing competitiveness, lean manufacturing. Those who are into the manufacturing industry particularly must be aware of this, that you can increase your profit by reducing your cost of manufacturing. So this lean manufacturing is one of the schemes which helps you in reducing the cost of the manufacturing. There are various techniques which are to be used, and I have a separate this one slide also, which where actually I will be explaining this in little detail. Then one of the wonderful scheme is the cluster development scheme, that is MSME development clusters. Under this scheme, there are two components. One is establishing of CFC, that is Common Facility Center. Other one is Industrial Infrastructure Development Scheme. So we will be talking on this in the forthcoming slides also. And a new idea can be generated by incubation centers. New idea is generated, for which we grant we give a grant of 15 lakhs, up to rupees 15 lakhs for incubating. Then comes intellectual property right, IPR. Under this, there are various intellectual property like trademark, like patent, etc., where actually we give the incentives even for adopting these intellectual properties. Again, we have a separate slide on this. Quality certification, JED, is that zero effect, zero defect. You may be aware of it. Then exports. To promote the exports, we have IC schemes, that is international cooperation schemes. In these, under these schemes, we finance, we reimburse the expenses of participation in the international exhibitions. And here actually I have deliberately put a detailed link. If there is anything missing or anything is not clear, you can always visit these websites, that is my.msme.gov.in or www.dcmsme.gov.in or even www.msme.gov.in. So each and every scheme has been explained in detail on these websites, and this there is a handy app also, that is my MSME. You can get the information from there also. So let me go to the next slide now. COVID folks, during the COVID, actually some special schemes were launched. Okay, for post as a post-COVID this one, that is emergency credit linked guarantee scheme, ECLGS scheme, under which 20% of the outstanding loans raised on 29th February was given without any additional collateral security. For this, again, the entire scheme can be understood by this scheme, this website, which is mentioned here. Then credit guarantee scheme for subordinate debts, again for distressed NPA or MSMEs, 15% promoters stake. Actually, this was given, and the details are available on the website. Again, the fund for a infusion of 50,000 crores as equity into MSMEs was there, and these are under consideration. For details, again visit this champions.gov.in. Here, after my session will be over, I will like to speak on champions.gov.in also afterwards. Please do remind me of this, because I have not put a slide on this, but this is also a very good initiative taken by our ministry. So till now, is there any question? Dr. Laik? Hello.
We will take up questions after the presentation, sir. So we have already kept the question answer session. Yes.
What I feel, it is going to be a very lengthy session otherwise. Okay, it is my humble suggestion. If we can put a milestone in between, okay,
yes,
so that
yes,
actually
yes,
we
yes,
can
yes.
start with that. Okay, otherwise it will be too much to digest at a time.
Okay, okay.
So it is easy. To newcomers, it will be difficult. Okay. So let me show the slides one by one. If there is any question related to this, we can take up now, and we can save the time for later on. Okay. So do you permit me to go for this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, our strategy will be like this. If there is anybody who wants to ask the question, can unmute and ask the question, and I will try to answer to the extent I can. Okay. So this is the classification. This is classification, that is the definition. Now even the trading activities also have been included into this. This is the recent development. I was expecting that there should be some questions related to this, but nobody has asked this question. Okay.
All the participants are requested, if you are having any kind of questions, you can directly just call Dr. Goel. Or you can also share the question in the chat box also. Okay, Dr. Goyal, you can go ahead.
So next one is this. Is there any doubt in this?
Yeah, one question is from Pratap Singh. Yes, yes, sir. You can ask your question, sir. Mr.
Mr. Pratap
Pratap,
Singh.
your voice is not clear. Your voice is not clear, Mr. Pratap Singh. You can just share your question in the chat box. Okay, Dr. Goyal, you can go ahead.
Okay. So because if Mr. Pratap has any question which can be of common interest to everybody, that will be really very useful. But otherwise also let us go ahead and later on we can take up the question of Mr. Pratap. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Now here comes the schemes for the prospective entrepreneurs. I don't think there is any question for this also. So I will be going to the next slide then.
Sure, sir, sure.
On this, there should be many questions on this. I expect many questions. That's why actually I wanted to stop here.
Any question from anybody?
You see, if there is no question, that means we have been very successful in popularizing these schemes. Everybody knows everything about it. Probably this session is even not required. But anyway, I will like to ask one question from the participants. Hello,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Saab, am I allowed to
Yes,
ask
yes.
one question? Okay,
Yes.
from the participants, like procurement and marketing support. In this, there is PMS and PPP. What is this? Sir, anybody can answer this? What is PMS and this one? PPP?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
public partnership. Hello.
So,
Yeah,
public-private partnership, na?
Yes, sir.
yeah. My question is there. We are in. Hello. Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to request you if you can drop your question in the inbox, that will help us to understand question much better. Thank you. And please mute your mic and drop your question in the inbox.
Oh, Meghaji, because I can see my screen only. Okay. Meghaji, I can see my screen only. So, can
We
anybody
can
tell
see
me
your
what is PPP?
presentation also.
Pratap Singh ji, your voice is not clear. I would just request you just drop your question in the chat. And Dr. Goel, Megha will
That will
for
be
other
fantastic. Yes.
participants so that means it is not disturbed because we are getting
Okay.
lots of noises.
Yes,
So
yes, that's
everybody
great.
is just
No,
requested, yeah, everybody is just requested to just mute your mic so that we can carry on smoothly. Yes, Dr. Goel,
Pratap
please.
sir, please mute your mic. Some noises from your side, sir. Kindly mute your mic, sir.
Okay, anyway, I will like to answer this. PPP doesn't mean here public-private partnership. Okay, generally it is misinterpreted as public-private partnership. It is public procurement policy. So anyway, it is public procurement policy under which the government purchases 25% of its own annual procurement from micro and small enterprises only. Out of this 25%, 5% is reserved for SC/ST. अच्छा, अच्छा. Okay, so this is how actually it goes on, because there is some reservation for SC/ST and some reservation for women enterprises. So this is how it goes. So lean manufacturing, we are coming to lean manufacturing now, a new scheme, that is lean manufacturing, and I will request my colleague Mr. Neeraj Sharma to take up, because I have to go to attend the dignitary from our ministry. Okay, so I will request Mr. Neeraj Sharma to continue here. He is assistant director in our office. Mr. Neeraj Sharma, please.
Thank you, Goel sir. Lean manufacturing scheme. Lean manufacturing scheme is one of the best scheme of Ministry of MSME. This objective of this scheme is to minimize wastages in manufacturing. Like it is like means to remain lean and thin. We do daily exercise. So lean manufacturing scheme, it provides a consultant of international level to the MSE units, which will help them to standardize their process so that their waste could be eliminated from their process, increasing productivity, implementing tools like 5S, visual control, SOPs, just in time, Kanban, Pokayoka, TPM, etc. So what is financial assistance under this scheme? In this scheme, a consultant will be provided, and that consultant will visit the MSc unit, a group of MSc unit. It can be 6 to 10 units, and the total cost will be maximum up to 6 lakh rupees, out of which 80% will be given by the Ministry of MSME and 20% will be shared by the MSC's unit. So you can see some changes before and after the implementation of the lean scheme. These are the few photographs. You can see from the scrapyard how it is changed after the implementation of the lean scheme. This scheme will not only help the unit to become self-sustainable and provide the units recurring benefits under this scheme. These are the few photographs before and after implementation of the lean scheme. Now, second is design clinic scheme. Design clinic scheme is basically like in Delhi for MSc unit. It is very important to develop new products and to find the solution of the existing problem. So this design clinic help to solve these kind of problem for the MSc industries. Under this scheme, we held some awareness program, workshop, etc. Apart from this, 3 or more than 3 units, even an individual unit can take advantage of this scheme. Under this scheme, 15 lakh to 40 lakh rupees for the project of up to 50 lakh to 15 lakh to 40 lakh rupees, wherein Government of India grant will be 75% if the micro units are there, and 60% for small and medium units. The reimbursement will be done in 3 installment. First step will be the strategy and concept approval. 40% payment will be given. The second installment will be given after detailed design, that is 30%, and after successful implementation another 30%. This is one component. Another component of this scheme is student design projects. If the final year students who want to do their final year project in some micro small units, and if they can solve their problem, some of the problem through their project, then 75% up to expenses of 1.5 lakh rupees will be given by the MSME, and 25% by the sponsoring unit. The 25% can be given in the form of transportation, like anything the MSME unit wants. So these are the few design clinic scheme products which were developed under this scheme. The implementation agency under design clinic schemes are various NITs are linked with MSME, various engineering colleges, various IITs also being the part of this design clinic scheme. Now third scheme is IPR, intellectual property rights scheme. Under this scheme, we conduct some awareness program. We have in past we have conducted some program with WASME also, some national as well as international level seminars we used to conduct and sponsored. These are also sponsored by the Ministry of MSME. We have opened many IPFCs, intellectual property right facilitation centers, where MSc unit can visit and take the benefits, take their benefit from the IPFCs. Now, financial assistance under IPR scheme for domestic payment patents, a financial assistance up to 1 lakh is provided under this scheme. For foreign patent, 5 lakh rupees. Geographical GI registration, 2 lakh rupees. And even for trademark, for having trademark, 10,000 per trademark will be given to the MSME unit. And for setting up IP facilitation center, Government of India subsidy is up to 1 crore rupees. So these are the assistance under IPR scheme, which is being provided by the Ministry of MSME. Now, fourth scheme is business incubation scheme. Business incubation is basically if there is some MSME unit who wants to develop new product, they have their new innovation, which they want to develop a prototype for that, then this business incubation scheme can help them. Under business incubation scheme, students of engineering college, IIT can also take the benefits. Now, under this scheme is implemented through host institute, and host institutes are the IITs, engineering college. At present in Delhi NCR, approx 30 host institutes are approved. Now for host institute, 10 crore rupees is given to for the plant and machineries, and 15 lakh rupees per idea for the development and nurturing the some innovative idea. Now, after the prototype development, seed capital support fund is also given to the new startup, which is up to 1 crore. And all these benefits will be given through the host institute. Now, next is procurement and marketing support scheme for MSCs. Now, MSCs need the means they participate in different type of trade fair, international fair, vendor development programs, etc. So, Ministry of MSME give financial assistance for participation. Participation is national as well as international fair. We have scheme for modern packaging techniques also. If there is any cluster where marketing hearts to be developed, so ministry also give assistance for developing marketing hearts under procurement and marketing scheme. Now, what is the exact financial assistance that is provided under this scheme? Under this scheme, for domestic fares, 80% of space rent for the general candidate and 100% for SC, ST or women candidate is given with a cap limit of 1,50,000 rupees. This is for A class city. For B class city, this limit is 1 lakh rupees, and for C class it is 80,000 rupees. Apart from this financial assistance, contingency expenditure 100%, which include travel charges, publicity, and freight charges. Maximum 25,000 is given for the contingency expenditure under this scheme. Apart from this, for local participant, a freight of 12 rupees per kilometer up to 50 kilometer is also considered under this scheme. Any MSME unit can participate in 2 fare annually. This is the limit. Now, for organizing or participating in trade fair, this is one component where an individual unit is participating. Under this scheme, there are second component also, where we used to hire space, and the space then it is given to the MSE unit. Now, for that, any organizer can contact this office, where for example, if any organizer who is organizing any fair at Pragati Maidan or anywhere else in Delhi NCR or even another part of country, they can come to us. So we will, if the fair is for the beneficiary of the MSME unit, we hire space for that, and for that 15 to 40 lakh rupees is given for hiring that space, and apart from that 15 lakh rupees for advertisement and publicity can be considered. Now, the third component is modern packaging technique. 80% of total cost will be given for the empaneled agency consultancy organization for general category unit, and 100% for SC/ST unit. For example, if you want to take consultancy from Indian Institute of Packaging, then for that 80% of that consultancy charges can be given by the Ministry of MSM for general entrepreneur, and 100% for the SC/ST entrepreneurs. Now, the limit of financial assistance under this scheme is 1 lakh rupees for the ordinary packaging, and if the unit is going for the green packaging, then financial assistance is up to 1,50,000. Now, fourth one is development of marketing hubs. If any cluster or any industrial area want to develop marketing hubs, then for setting up new facilities, 50 lakh rupees per heart or whatever is actual is given by the Ministry of MSME, and for the upgradation of existing facility, financial assistance of 20 lakh rupees per heart or actual will be provided by the Ministry of MSME. Now, we used to conduct various vendor development programs also. 2 years back, we have conducted one vendor development program in association with WASME in the premises of WASME itself. So that was a great success, and we have got great assistance from the likes of for conducting that program. Now, for international and national workshop seminar, a financial assistance can be given up to 5 lakh rupees per seminar. Any NGO, any association like WASME, they can take advantage under this scheme. And apart from this, additional cost of 2.5 lakh rupees can be given for the air travel, boarding, lodging, etc. And then we used to conduct awareness program for the financial assistance under this scheme is 70,000, that can be conducted with the anytime with the any association like WASME or any other in the Delhi NCR, which comes under jurisdiction of MSMEDA New Delhi. Now, this is very important scheme. MSc CDP, Micro Small Enterprises Cluster Development Program. This scheme is basically for the development of infrastructure in the clusters. So this scheme has two components. One is CFC, Common Facilitation Center, and another scheme is IID, Industrial Infrastructure Development. For example, if there is one cluster, currently we are planning one CFC at Noida, that is plastic cluster, for plastic cluster. Under this scheme, 18 crore, that is 90 for the total 90% of total project cost of 20 crore will be given by the government of India for her intervention. The intervention from Ministry of MSME will be on only on the machinery part. Rest will be borne by the SPV members, that is micro, small, medium enterprises, and the state government. Now, 14 crore can be given by for if the micro small units are up to 50%, then the government of India contribution will be 90%. If the it is micro small and women, SC ST, or in northern eastern region, if the units are less than more than 50%, then in that case the assistance from the government of India is up to 14 crore rupees. Now, for the second component is IID. IID covers infrastructure development like sewer, roads of any industrial area. Under this scheme, 80%, if the number of micro, small, women, SC ST units are more than 50%, the government of India contribution is up to 80%. If it is less than 50%, then government of India contribution is up to 6 crore. Now, fourth component is under this scheme is development of flatted factory complex. For that, for a project cost of 15 CR, 80% assistance will be given by the Ministry of MSME if the micros, small, women, SC enterprises are more than 50%, and 60%, that is 9 CR, if the number of micro, small units are less than 50%. So these are the various financial assistance under MSc CDP scheme. We can also develop marketing hubs, exhibition center in associate with the association. The government of India contribution is restricted to 60% with a project cost of 10 CR, and 80% if the association is women owned association, like where the number of MSCs are 50%, MSCs are women enterprises, then government of assistance is up to 80%. Now, thematic intervention is also there. Government of India subsidy for following activity in approved completed CFCs, where CFC already has been installed. Their thematic intervention like development of portal, sale portal, buyer seller portal can also be developed. For that, 50% assistance can be given up to 2 lakh by the Ministry of MSME. Apart from this, various training program, exposure visits that can be covered under this scheme. There is one more component, State Innovative Cluster Development Program. This is conducted in coordination with the state government. Here, Government of India assistance will be maximum up to 5 CR, whichever is lower, and 90% of project cost that should not be exceeded from 5 CR. Now, CLCSS, Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. This scheme is under revision at the moment, but at present I'm just telling you the what is the what this scheme content is. Under this scheme, there are 56 subsectors where for purchasing machines and assistance of 15 lakh rupees or 15% for the cap limit of 100 lakh rupees, 1 CR machines can be taken under this scheme. Nodal agency for these schemes are various banks and SIDB, Small Industrial Development Bank of India. Any MSME who want to take advantage of this scheme, they have to apply through their banks, or they can directly apply through SIDB also. But at present, the application were considered under this scheme till March 2020. This scheme is under revision, and soon it will be available for the to take the benefits under this scheme. So these are the various schemes from Ministry of MSME. Thank you very much. Any question if you have in this regard that can be answered?
Neil sir, we have a few questions. So can we take up that
Yes,
questions?
sure, sure.
Sir, we have one question in the inbox. Is there any single window at MSME to help MSME who cannot approach banks?
Okay, there is actually direct. There is no such kind of facility, but if they have any problem with the banks who is not giving the benefits under the schemes of Ministry of MSME, then in that case we have champions portal, where all banks and CDB, they are connected with that champions portal, and any grievance which is raised by any MSE unit which is not being addressed by the banks due to undue reasons, then can be directly taken up by our office for Delhi NCR. And again, for national, we have MSMEDI at in every state, so they can take that kind of issue. And the
Thank you,
champions
sir.
portal link is www.champions.gov.in, and any grievance which is raised on this portal, that will be answered within 48 hours, and at our office we are answering such kind of grievances within 24 hours.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Let's move towards the next question. Uh, procuring policy.
Public procurement policy.
Public, no, he wrote. Okay, you can answer that. Might be that will help him out.
So what is the question about public procurement policy?
I'll move to the next question. He didn't wrote any proper question. So any policy to protect existing MSMEs, ensure single window at MSME instead to directing banks, regulators to reach MSMEs.
This is the champions is the common portal. I already told you that if there is any such kind of grievance that bank is not helping, then they can put their grievance on champions portal, that will be directed to that concerned bank, because all banks, all ministries are being linked through this common portal, that is champions portal. So the grievance will be directly and every bank and every CPSUs, they have appointed nodal officer for this portal. So any grievance which is raised will be directly answered through the that nodal officer directly from them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next question. Under new incubation idea supports sports, basically rural support industry development is allowed.
Yes, it is allowed. We have a separate cluster program for development of rural industries, that is called Spurti. Under this scheme, for artisan based, if there are if the number of artisan are up to 500, then a financial assistance up to 5 CR 5 crore is given under the Spurti scheme. If it is 2.5 CR given for the up to 500 artisan, and if the artisan are more than 500, then a assistance up to 5 CR is given for the development of artisan and rural industries.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And link for that is www.spurti.gov.in.
All right, sir.
So any NGO, any self-help group, any association, they can apply under this scheme, so that they can help out the MSC's industry, specifically rural and village industries.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Handing over mic to Dr. Sanjeev Lag, or we can move towards the vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Megha. And Dr. Datta, C. Barma ji, Dr. R.K. Gupta ji, R.K. Bharti ji, Dr. K.K. Goel, Mr. Neeraj Sharma ji. So all you have already given lots of things over there. So my one question is from the chief guest, Dr. Datta. So this is the Atmanirvar Bharat movement, and this is already conceptualized by means our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, and you have been already associated with the right wing and contributed a lot for the development of our country. So my question is to the to the rural bottom of the pyramid, how we can reach out to the last mile. Your views, sir?
Yes, this is something which is very important because, as I had said, that even now 70 to 80% of the Indian population is in relation to the rural areas, or for that matter, in relation to the semi-urban areas. There is a tendency of flocking towards metropolitan cities, and we have seen the disaster of that. The development, I mean, the way slums have come up, and with the way people are struggling in metropolitan cities, I mean, the last 25 years or 30 years of this skewed development has actually resulted in this. In my understanding, the motto of us today should be is vocal for local. When the Honorable Prime Minister talks about vocal for local, he doesn't only mean that we have to be local in our assertion or we have to be local in our assertiveness. We also have to look into the local areas, which means the areas which are deprived, the areas which are vanchit, the areas which are far flung areas as such, and if we do not bring them into the economic ladder of the country, and if we do not bring them at par with the metropolitan cities, the actual development of the country cannot happen as such. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, always speaks about sustainable development. He speaks about development which transcends the states as such. He talks about the states which are deprived as such. He keeps on focusing about northeastern India. He keeps on focusing about the eastern part of India. The Honorable Prime Minister always says that if the eastern part of the country is not developed, if the northeastern part of our country is not developed, if Leh Ladakh is not developed, if Jammu and Kashmir is not developed, India cannot be Atmanirbhar as such. So this notion of vocal for local is something which needs to be advocated in a very big way. In my understanding, I would appeal to all the younger generation through your esteemed organization that people who are educated, who have done their studies, their higher qualifications in Mumbai or in Delhi or in Kolkata or in premier institutions across the country or in abroad, it is time for them to go back to their grassroots. It is time for them to go back to their region, and do something for the people who are really, really dependent on you. Pass on the message, pass on the research quality, pass on the research activity, expertise which you have inculcated inside yourself, which you have developed inside yourself. Pass on that to the generation, pass on to the people who really need to have a feel of that, who really want to have a kind of a connectivity with that. Together with that, I would also suggest that the Skill India movement, the Digital India movement, the Atmanirbhar Bharat movement, local for vocal, like all these movements, Khelo India movement, all these incentives which have been developed by the government of India, which are being patronized by the government of India, these incentive needs to be collaborated and co-opted by institutions like yours and by universities, by colleges, as well as by other organizations, and let us make it a kind of a flowing river with innumerable number of tributaries and branches, so that besides the main river, which is the government of India, or for that matter the metropolitan India, besides that all these tributaries, all these branches can nurture the scheme of the government of India, nurture the facilities provided by the metropolitan India into those small villages, those small towns, and small villages and the kasbahs in the far-flung areas as such. Because we need to understand that if we cannot make rural India developed, and if we cannot make the growth inclusive, India as a nation will not progress. For us to be progressive as a nation, we have to have a developed Bharat, a Bharat which is developed. India is already developed, but India is just a small part of it. It's hardly 5% of the actual population of the country. The day Bharat is developed, the day Bharat becomes inclusive, the day we are able to channelize our energy for Bharat, I think Unnat Bharat and Atmanirvar Bharat at the grassroots level will actually happen. And if we really want to make India a superpower of the Indo-Pacific region, I always say this, that if we have to have India as a superpower in the Indo-Pacific region, we have to look towards the rural India. We have to look towards Bharat as such.
Thank you, Dr. Datta, for your valuable input. Definitely, after creation of this Ministry of Cooperation, as Mr. Verma has already mentioned, and your thought on the Atmanirvar Bharat, and our Honorable Prime Minister's vision towards achieving 5 trillion goal. So this will definitely fulfill when we reach out to the bottom of the pyramid. Thank you for your input, sir. Any other question? Thank you. Any other question by any participant? Now we can move towards vote of thanks. I'm just handing over to Ms. Megha Chatter.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Very
you
much
are
audible.
audible.
Thank you. I, on behalf of World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, it's a great honor to propose the word of thanks to all guest speakers, participants, and WASME team. I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Survu Kamal Datta, Chief Guest, R.K. Bharti, Guest of Honor, Dr. K.K. Goyal, Assistant Director, MSME DI, Government of India, Ministry of MSME, Neeraj Sharma, Assistant Director, and Sanjay Verma, Deputy Director, NCUI, for excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I would like to express our profound gratitude to Sarvakamal Datta for his presence in this webinar. I would also like to thank our Secretary General Dr. G.P. Agarwal and Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME, for support and guidance. Once again, thank you all of you for making this webinar successful with your contribution. Thank you so much. And I would like to request all the participants copy the feedback link from the inbox and send it back to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.